sustainability series, the third of our sustainability series. Are we live on StreamYard?
Yes.
Okay, I think we are live on Instagram. You need to join us on Instagram, Edith. Hi everyone, good morning. You are welcome to the third edition of the African Sustainability Series with myself and Edith Njage. Today we are going to be talking about building a legacy, of course, with your business. We're going to be demystifying the myth around what it means to build a legacy and how you can start, with what you can start, and how you truly can make impact on a global scale, starting from wherever you are within the African continent. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Stay with us. This is going to be a 1 hour long conversation. And we hope that at the end of this conversation, every single one of you would leave here with a consciousness of what you are building. And of course, Africa has lost its right to think short term. Okay, Edith, do you want to send an invite on Instagram so I can invite you and then we can take it from there? Edith, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Edith, can you hear me? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Good. Okay, great. Something happened on the StreamYard. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. Abs- Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Oh my. Hello, everyone. Across all the platforms, we're trying to make sure that we're set up everywhere. It's a bit tricky to stream on. Yeah, it's up, it's running, it's live. Hello, everyone joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Give us a minute to get just back on this platform. On Instagram, we're set on Instagram. Oh my word.
On.
Perfect. There we go.
Yeah. So can you hear me appropriately now?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm not listening to you there. I can hear you here.
Okay, that's great. So, guys, you're officially welcome to the third series of the sustainability series we have been doing in the past 2-3 weeks for African businesses. And we started this series because we were tired, or we are tired, of the ongoing statistics of African businesses starting, and in the next 3 to 5 years, they are nowhere to be found. I believe that once there's an introduction of a new methodology of doing things, people change statistics that have existed for the longest term. So it doesn't matter how long it has felt as though African businesses are not surviving. The minute we have we have an understanding, and we begin to introduce this knowledge into different strata of society, especially with regards to African entrepreneurs, we will begin to see a massive difference in the way young African entrepreneurs run their businesses. And hey, this also cuts across both young African entrepreneurs and mid-level African entrepreneurs, and those who are even personal brands, as you may like to call it. And in the last 2 weeks, we have talked about the sustainability mindset. You don't build sustainable businesses without the sustainability mindset. And so if this is your first time joining this series, we have 2 series that you cannot afford to miss. We have 2 hours long plus of full-bodied wisdom of myself and my sister sharing our perspectives on how things can be done differently, of course, to achieve greater results this time around. And the second series, we talked about building a sustainable vision and mission. Again, if you were not in that class, please go catch the replay as it's available either on my Instagram series, on Edith's Instagrams, on Edith's LinkedIn series, on Edith's YouTube, or on my YouTube.
YouTube. My Facebook.
Apologies, my darling. So, yeah. Then today we are talking about building a legacy.
Yes.
Building a legacy. And I know that the average young African thinks legacy is when I'm 40, when I'm 50, I'll begin to think about that. But we're going to talk about all of that today. And why is it even important in the climes where we are at as African entrepreneurs? But before we go into today's conversation, I'll just let my sister, give just a few wrap up on the last two sessions, and then we'll use that as a lever into today's conversation. So Edith.
Thank you so much, Just. I mean, first of all, the feedback on the last two episodes has been absolutely amazing, breathtaking, exciting. People have really learned so much from our sharing, our journeys. It's almost like we have a tribe now. I love it. We have a whole tribe, and I love to see it. So we have been talking about sustainability and why Africa needs sustainable business, not just any sort of entrepreneurs, but sustainable and visionary entrepreneurs at that. And the episodes have been so interesting. I've been crying in most of these. I've been crying because it's all been so intentional, so deep, and so beautiful. So I think I'm so excited for this one because anything that goes beyond self, anything that goes beyond me and you is something we need to be talking about. The second that legacy becomes a part of the conversation, sign me up, put me down, I'm ready. And I think for me, just seeing it start from what is sustainability to how to actually have a sustainable vision and mission, and then now getting into how it can ripple and affect other people beyond yourself, how it can live even when you're gone. I think for me, that is just the highlight. So sis, take it away. Start it for us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. In 2020, Africa, or the world actually, was hit with the pandemic. And for the first time, it dawned on us, especially as Africans, that Africa has lost the right to think short term. Yeah. Because if you study a lot of global economies during the pandemic, the lockdown, a lot of them were prepared. It was almost as though they had a system and structure in place to handle issues like that, even if they didn't expect the level with which the pandemic rose and, affected a lot of things, people, businesses, lives, countries, nations, and all of that. But they had systems and structures in place to be able to manage that, almost as though they sat down and said, should in case this comes, how do we manage it?
Oh, wow.
But he exposed Africans to us, now not to the world, because frankly, we shouldn't care what the world thinks. We should look within ourselves. He exposed to us Africans that we have lost the right to think short term. And what that means is, if at the nation's level we have lost the right to think short term, we have to cascade it down to you and me. So it's easy to say the president, the health minister, the governors did not put systems and structure in place. If we bring that down to you and me, do you actually have a system and structure in place that keeps you and positions you for the next 5 years, 10 years as first a personal brand or a business owner, whether you're a startup or you're an existing entrepreneur? Do we have the thoughts, the mindset, the plans, the strategies that makes us stay relevant and continue to do business in the next 5 to 10 years? I'm starting with this question because I want everybody to truly sit down and say, have I truly been living short term? Or do I have a plan to remain here? Because I know all of you know that popular quote that says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
It starts with things as basic as the business that you run today. Yeah. And then just to layer that into the conversation we're having today, legacy. Legacy starts with what you live in the lives of your customers every day you interact with them. That's legacy. That means I interact with your posts, I interact with your content, I buy products and services from you, and the emotion, the feeling, the feedback that I take from that singular interaction, that's the legacy you're building. Because it's easy for us to say branding is a summary of conversations people are having about you. Legacy, vis-a-vis that, is also the imprint of what you are living in the lives of your customer on everyday's interaction. So if for any reason you are no longer there today, by value of my interaction with you today or yesterday, did I leave any impact? That's truly what legacy is. It means that your 18-year-old self, your 22-year-old self, your 30-year-old self actually has a legacy that you have been building, whether consciously or unconsciously, whether in your personal interaction with people, in your business interaction with people, in your vision interaction with people, and it cuts across different strata of society. And so this, my friends, is an internalization to say, have I truly been building a legacy, or have I truly just been given to people? When I say giving to people, take products, give me money. Is that all you have been doing? Give me, take, give me, take. Or there's something that can be said that this person, by virtue of their existence, has done this. And that is the conversation the person is going to carry for the rest of their lives for that singular interaction. I've had people in the last 3 years of interacting with me who say, just by meeting you, my business changed. That's a legacy I have left. Whether they meet me tomorrow or never again, I have left a legacy. I remember a lady saying to me the other day, her business would never have existed if she didn't meet me. And you know what happened that day was we had a strategy session and we birthed a new business. And she started to run with that business. 3 years down the line, the business is going in leaps and bounds. And she says every time she remembers her business, she remembers what I did for her. I have left a legacy. And that's one out of many people. Do you see what I'm saying? So you are not too young to look at the business that you have in your hands as building a legacy, then consciously begin to infuse what you want to leave behind in your everyday interactions with your prospects, with your customers, with the stakeholders that you have, with your employees, and the list goes on and on for every entrepreneur who is truly serious about leaving a legacy behind with their business. So yes, Edith, I'll let you say a couple of things.
I want people to understand this about legacy. Legacy is something that you feed. It is fed. You build a legacy, you feed a legacy.
So good.
It needs to come from a place of understanding that the legacy you want to have is something you need to start feeding today.
So good.
Okay? And that is why, funny enough, all the animals breastfeed their children. All children, regardless of whatever animal it is, from human beings to the dogs to the lions to everything is breastfed. Everything is fed from day one. So what are you feeding your legacy?
So
That's
good.
my question.
Wow.
What are you feeding your legacy? And my further question is this, because I had a story, and it adds on to what I'm saying right now. In this story, the person was it was a grandfather and a grandson. And the grandson was watching, and the grandfather, they were watching two wolves fighting. So they're sitting and they're watching the two wolves, they're fighting. And when these wolves are fighting, the grandson asks the grandfather, which one will win? How do I know which one will win? And the grandfather says, the one that you feed. If there are two wolves that are fighting in your destiny, one of them is speaking negativity, it's speaking self, it's speaking
So good.
get the money, is speaking focus
Wow.
on the revenues,
So
is
good.
focusing on
So
me,
good.
myself. And then there's
So good.
another one that is speaking
So
sustainability, that
good.
is speaking impact, that is
So
speaking
good.
legacy, that is speaking growth. Which one are
So
you
good.
feeding?
So
Because the
good.
one that you
Wow.
feed is the one that will win.
So good.
So every single
Wow.
morning when you wake up, what are you feeding?
Hmm.
What are you feeding your
So
legacy?
good.
Are you feeding it negativity? Are you feeding it, let me think of the now, the money, the quick, hurry? Or are you feeding greatness? Are you feeding sustainability? Are you feeding impact? Are you feeding greater than I am? Are you feeding for tomorrow?
Hmm. So good.
What wolf
Wow.
will win in your story?
So good. So good. Wow. So good. Like this analogy is golden. Oh wow. So good. Just thinking about your analogy, I'm trying to bring it down to the average everyday human when you wake up. Wake up. The first instinct of the average person is to think about how will things be in terms of where would the next customer come from, where would the next prospect come from, where would the next income come from, and the where. And people in 24 hours, Edith, can get consumed with that singular thought, and that's all they do for the entire day. Just like your analogy, what are you feeding? So they are feeding their I want this, and for an entire 24 hours, they are stuck on just that thing. Then at the end of the day, when you probably don't achieve all the things you have set out to achieve, you begin to feel frustrated, depressed, not good enough, almost
Yeah.
one day feeling like I want to close my business because it's not working. The reason why is because you only fed one part, that wolf. Instead, you could have woken up and say, yes, I do want customers, I do want
Yeah.
prospect, but while I am at it, can I considerably invest into the future that I see in this business? I.e., personal development,
Yeah.
i.e., understanding markets, understanding trends, i.e., understanding futuristic trends, what will happen in that market, i.e., understanding gaps in the marketplace, i.e., understanding problems, deep seated problems that you can create solutions to that will last for a long time. So while somebody else may be deploying their minds, their brains to going after customers one by one inside inbox and exhausting themselves in different parts, you are exerting your brain and your mind to create solutions for problems that your customers have, but they haven't even admitted that they have. Why? Because you have fed the sustainability part of doing
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
So this is me breaking it down to your everyday life so that you see how this works and so that you see how you don't fall prey of these things we are talking about on a normal day. Because guess what? If you are truly an entrepreneur, whether in Nigeria, in Africa, in any country in the world, every day is not necessarily going to be rosy.
Yeah.
Every day is not necessarily going to be rosy. And that's
Yeah.
why the attitude with which you grow your business or you run your business should be is going to be the determinant factor as to how long you stay in that business. Because on the days where it looks like there are lows, your motivation is not just what you want to get. Your motivation is not what you're positioning to be, to do, to have, to solve for a futuristic time.
Wow.
And that's how the blue chip companies that you look up to today, that is truly how they grow businesses. They don't live for the now. They sit down and they study your entire life 20 years down the line.
Wow.
How do you think Apple, Microsoft, and all these other companies are still relevant? Even Dangote, who is a Nigerian company.
Yeah.
They sit down, they look at your life. If a woman today gets married, she will have children. What will her children eat? As the children is growing, what will they eat? And they position by creating products step by step down the line, and there is a customer life cycle being recycled. They didn't do that by thinking of the now. They fed the world that was thinking of sustainability. And that's why 20 years down the line, you still see them. 200 years down the line, if God tarries, they may still be there if there's proper governance structure in their organization. And so every time we look at these companies, we admire them, we love them, we see what they do. What are we picking by way of everyday examples? Because listen, my friends, the SI unit of destiny is time. The SI unit of destiny is time. Greatness is not birthed overnight. It's a summation of what you do every day. So when we're talking sustainability, legacy, your sustainable mission and vision, your sustainable mindset is a summary of what you do every day. How you spend 10 minutes of 24 hours and you repeat it within that day is what's going to determine what your life and business will turn out to be in the next 5 years. You use it anyhow, your business and life will be anyhow in the next 5 years. I know it sounds harsh, but it's a wake-up call because somebody needs to hear this and it needs to hit you. If you spend 3 to 4 hours watching Netflix and series and all of those things, and you say, well, let me go to my DM and see if I have inquiries, you're not building a business. You're building a hobby and it's going to crash as quickly as it started. And so if you're one of those who believes that what you have in your hands is a solution that the world is desperately waiting for in one corner of the world, in one corner of the continent, in one small village, in one small community, that dream should make you restless every day of your life. Literally, that dream should make you restless because every day you're thinking about how do I go deeper into that community? How do I reach them in a way they can understand? How do I communicate the values to them so that they can get it and begin to run with it? You are every day thinking this time around, because I believe that we are the generation who will turn things around on this continent. This time around, spending time with God to unravel his vision and his mission for the business he's giving you in the place of solitude. And so, in simple times, to give you an activity that you should do, every single one of you should have your day structured out.
Oh my God.
Your 24 hours should be structured if you truly are building a legacy. Meaning that every hour of your life, just like if you have money, they teach you financial management, right?
Yeah.
We all take note of financial management, budgeting, don't buy the things you don't need, and all those things about personal finances. Who is taking very seriously time management?
Wow.
Because time management, friends, is the SI unit of destiny. You don't manage time, there's no destiny to look up to. So the first step is to sit down today and structure your time to say, I wake up this time, I do this time. As basic as it sounds, you think it sounds very, oh, wow, it's basic now, I can do it. No. You don't know how much time, how much leakage in time of time you have in your life until you sit down to do the structural adjustments. Until you sit down.
Oh my God.
When I did my own time allotment for the whole day, I saw how much time leakage. The way you see money leakage, there's time leakage. And listen, money leakage is easy. Time leakage will destroy a person completely because you will find out that for a whole 1 year, you plan to do something, but because there was time leakage excessively around your life, your activities, your business, you end up not doing anything. And then you sit down and begin to compare the two people who both of you started together in the year. You sort of look at what they have done and what you are doing and wondering, how did I get it wrong? Time.
Oh my God.
So that's that adage that says anything you focus on expands. You know that thing? So that means if you have a business and you're thinking sustainability, spend more time focusing and visualizing how this will transform the lives of people. Let people call you a dreamer. It's okay, dream. Because you're first going to see and build that dream in your imagination until it begins to come out physically as a manifestation in your products, in your services, and in the solutions that you're creating for the people who you have been called to serve. So one of the take homes I'm saying to everyone who's listening today is do a structural adjustment of your time and spend a huge amount of time visualizing the things God has said to you to go do in your business. Rather than jumping helter-skelter, looking at what is obtainable, what the next person is doing, what your competitor is doing and not doing, we are in the era where nobody can reproduce what somebody else is doing. You have to build according to design. If you want to be sustainable in this era,
Oh
Except you
wow.
want to go back to the Stone Age. But if
Oh
in this
wow.
era you must build according to design, and that design is not in the next Instagram page that's your competitor. That design is centered in solitude where you're communing with God, the giver of
Oh my
every
word.
good and true vision.
Oh my word.
And so, dear entrepreneurs, this is the time to get centered, deepening the concepts, the solutions, the frameworks, the blueprints of the things that have been handed over to you.
Oh
Deepen
my
the
word.
concept so that once you begin to deploy, it is crystal clear that we have been sent to annihilate this problem for breakfast.
Oh my word.
A lot of you may wonder why we're having these sessions. We're having these sessions to set fire in the minds and lives of people, to keep you restless, because as you live here, something begins to burn inside of you. Because we need an army of people who are burning and crazy enough to believe that this country, this continent can be built. And it truly takes one man to do it, whether you like it or not. It's one man who is crazy enough. Go and ask Nelson Mandela. He did it.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King. He did it. Give me
Yeah.
an example of great men who lived. They did it. All they really needed to believe is, I'm crazy enough to believe this thing, and they rally a troop. So we're trying to rally you guys as troops, African entrepreneurs, to truly begin to build according to design, because where we are going is far. And if we're going to expand and last the test of time for where we are going, you need to build not just according to design, but be very conscious of this SI unit of destiny called time, so that structurally your time is properly allotted to the activities that enable you build according to design. I'm going to stop here, Edith, so you can take over.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, the best part about this conversation is that we live in the microwave generation. You know, these days, young people, they want quick, quick. I press the microwave, 2 minutes, food. You know, the Wi-Fi, it cannot be slow. I understand young people, we like quick things. Do it quick. Here's what I want to tell you. You will fail. You might not know this, but you will fail. You will fail as an entrepreneur. Wake up every day. Normally, I wake up and I ask God, how am I going to fail today? Me, I'm ready. But even as you fail, even as you fail as an entrepreneur, because it's part of the journey. It's why you're not in corporate. People in corporate, they cannot afford to fail, right? They're put there because they live in one lane. As an entrepreneur, one day you're marketing, the next day you're legal, the next day your website, the next day you're something else. You have to be able to fill in any gap. So the reality is, because as human beings, we're not all round perfect. There's something that will slip. There's a ball that you will drop, and it's okay. You can fail. The beauty is you have time. Like what Just is saying, you have time. Thomas Edison needed to fail 999 times for number 1000 to be correct. Do not be afraid of failing in the time while you're learning, because failure, if handled correctly, is space to learn. And the reason why a lot of you need to allow for time is, the reality is, God has a tendency of making us look foolish to the world. What do I mean?
That hits. That hits. Oh my gosh. Go ahead, my darling. Oh gosh. Wow.
What do I mean? Noah was asked to build an ark. Not even a drop of rain had been seen. Not even one drop. And he's being told to build an ark. If you go and you read the dimensions of that ark, you will understand why he looked foolish. Because you're building an ark that's the size of a building. It has not rained. You're pouring your resources. There's no drop of water. You're spending your time. There's no cloud. You're there every single day. And then to go further, you're being told to look for the animals 2 by 2. Me, I don't even understand. To look for the animals 2 by 2 and then put them into the ark. Tell me if God will not make you look foolish to the world. You will look foolish as you build. Every single day, when I wake up and I build and I'm failing and I'm building and I'm failing and I'm going wrong and I'm failing, I know the world is like, ha ha ha. You know, they're really laughing. What is she doing? What is she doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? We look like foolishness. And then the day that the book is published, they're like, aha, I see it now. On the day that the company is all over the newspapers, they're like, okay, now we understand. On the day that you're everywhere, then they're like, okay, now we see. Because a lot of times, in order for you to build the DNA of a visionary entrepreneur, you must look mad to everybody else. As someone building a legacy, you must look crazy, insane to everyone else. If you don't look insane as an entrepreneur, you're not doing it correct. You must look crazy. The dream that you pursue every single day, it must look so crazy that people wonder, how exactly are they going to do that? When I wake up and I tell myself, mandate 1 million opportunities for young Africans, I know I look crazy. I have to look crazy, because if the dream is not crazy, then it will not challenge you. It will not push you. It will not demand of your time. And like what Just is saying, most of us, we fail. And I know a lot of people, we blame the money. We always say, I didn't have capital. I didn't have this. I didn't have support. I didn't have da. You just did not use your time wisely. That's it. That's the A, the B, the C, and the D of all of it. You need to be able to invest time. If you invest time, not just into building the business, but building yourself. Dear entrepreneur, can you build yourself for the mandate? A lot of you are stepping onto plates or positions and hierarchies and callings, and the only reason it's going wrong is because you are not the right you for the job. You have to put time into you, into your legacy. You need to put time, whether it be working on your emotional capacity, your mental capacity, working on your spirituality, working on, I remember there was a season where Just learned. She collected, she'll tell us, certificate after certificate after certificate after she spent time learning. You must invest into yourself. As a sustainable entrepreneur, you have to put into yourself for you to build legacy. Because the reality about legacy is you're trying to get another person from point A to B so that they can run with your vision when you're not there. But how do you get them to a point you haven't been to before? How do you give me directions? You tell me, Edith, this is how you get to Lagos from Nairobi by road. If you've never done it, I won't trust you. I cannot trust you. How would I believe you? If a pilot has never flown from Nairobi to Lagos, I will not get onto the plane to go and see Just, because I know we might either land in the wrong location or we will not make it. Yeah, or we will not make it. He must know how to get there. Otherwise, I'm not going with him. So in the same way, you're trying to get people to jump onto your legacy. You're trying to get people to follow your vision. You're trying to get people to trust where you're trying to take them. Have you gone there? Have you done the most? Africans were good at expecting people to do things for us, and we haven't done them ourselves. You want to hire a person that is integral, a person that has confidence, a person that is bold, a person that is hardworking. Are you those things? You want to hand over the vision and you're saying, okay, you must have 1, 2, 3. I'm looking for a person who does 1, 2, 3. Have you mentored them? Because the thing about legacy is that it begins with mentorship. If you have not poured into that person, do not expect of them, because they will not deliver. Have you poured into the people who you're calling your legacy? The person that you want to take over your business, the person that you want to take over your vision, your mission, your mandate, your idea, whatever it is, have you spent time mentoring them intentionally? And not just mentoring them in terms of the work that they need to do, but mentoring them as people. Because if you want someone to take over after you, dear Africans, they must be better than you. That is the reality.
So good.
They have to be better than you.
So good.
And Africans, we've been taught to be selfish, that I have to be the best. If I get a person second in command, they are a little bit less great than me. And so your greatness is trying to outshine the greatness of the person who's coming after you. In order for you to have legacy that lives, the person that is coming after you must be smarter, brighter, stronger, more passionate, more intentional, more in-depth in the vision, carry a bigger strength and mandate. Otherwise, there's no point. And so for me, here's the thing. With legacy, you cannot be selfish. Legacy and selfishness can never live in the same house and people to continue eating. It can't. You can't. You cannot be selfish with legacy. With legacy, you have to pour yourself and then some into a person. With legacy, you have to carry that person in your soul and in your spirit because you know you're praying for them to build even better than you. Because otherwise, what's the point? So here is my challenge. The person you want to hand over to, can you begin to mentor them, to pour into them, even more than what you have? Can you be intentional with their growth, with their learning, with their development, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in every single arena and area? And don't wait until you're in your 50s to begin building legacy, to begin mentoring, to begin pouring into other people. Don't wait until you're near the grave where you can smell it. Then you start wondering, okay, who will take over? Who is the next one in line? Because look at Paul. Did he not have Timothy for a very long time? Did he not spend time with Timothy? Did he not say, I am pleading with the Lord for you, Timothy? I am carrying you more than I carry myself. Legacy cannot be selfish. You cannot be selfish if you have a legacy. If you're trying to hand it over to someone, hand over the mantle. They need to have everything you have and then make sure you give them more. You must give them more. You cannot be selfish. You cannot try and hold on to what you know. We've been taught in the corporate world, this is what our colonizers taught us, that if they have, we cannot have. If someone else has something, I can't have it. So because of that, it has inbuilt and doctrinated that if I give someone something, I've lost it. Because they took our land, because they took our people, because they sent things, our resources and everything, and they took advantage. So now you've been taught, okay, fine, because everything has been taken for me, I cannot give. I must hold on. I can't help another person. Please try and reverse any public parking in any public place and have someone help you from the goodness of their hearts in Africa. It doesn't happen. They will expect some coins. Why? Why? Is it a job description? Helping to reverse from a parking? Then you're being given a few coins?
Oh, so good. Wow.
Oh, sis.
Wow. I feel like this point drives it home. It's so good. It's so good. If this is the only thing everybody takes away from here, that you raise people who will take over from you, or whether they are not even going to take over from you, even if they are just employees that have come to work with you or for you, that you pour into them as though you were handing over your company to them. If this is the only thing, gosh, let me now explain the ripple effect of this thing. If this is the only thing you do, you'll be mentoring a balanced breed of employees who will become entrepreneurs, and we raise other people who are employees that are balanced. We go forth to become entrepreneurs. And would you see the analogy of a seed becoming a forest? Oh, wow. This simple framework she just explained. This is the analogy of how a seed becomes a forest. You have a business, you have a salesperson, or you have somebody who works with you, one or two people, and you pour with them from the richness of your heart with the mindset that this person may take over for me, or or more. And you pour so much into them. And when you are done pouring into them, you are raising a balanced person. And I know some people are going to say, please, a lot of times you finish raising people, they backstab you and they do all of those things. Leave all those, stop thinking about the negatives. Edith talked about it earlier. Focus your energy on the positives, not the negatives. So out of 120, 100 people, and 5 people behave badly after you have poured into them, must those 5 people be from your own organization?
Yeah.
Why are you thinking that they will come from your own organization? So focus your energy on thinking positive, show them love, show them kindness, be open to them about the vision, be open to them about what they stand to gain, and all of that. And as you do that, you are raising a balanced employee who will go forth to become a balanced entrepreneur, raise other balanced employees who will go forth to become balanced entrepreneurs, and see the ripple effect. It's cutting across like a hurricane across the African continent. So we're changing the system of mentorship/apprenticeship by just adopting this framework. And a lot of times, guys, the reason why the Igbo apprenticeship method has been adopted in Harvard is because hundreds of years they have tried it, tested it, that's proven again and again, and that's how legacy is built. And so if these guys in the eastern part of Nigeria have mastered apprenticeship system, aka building legacy, and they have transmuted businesses, thousands and thousands and thousands of businesses across the continent, it means that there's something there you and I must begin to pay attention to.
Yeah.
There's something there. And if you study this Igbo apprenticeship methods a lot, I know a lot of them because in my, when I was working with the corporates, I was working with the SME department, so I interacted a lot with all these small business owners who, majority of them were Igbos. So I understood that mentorship/apprenticeship system that they had. And listen, if you observe, majority of these guys who were doing these things, the guys they were mentoring were not flawless. They had issues. There were days when they would say, this person stole from me, this person took my money, this person did this, but they never threw them away. They would keep reprimanding them and pouring more into them because they just felt that, yes, this person is going to go on and become their own Oga someday.
Oh, wow.
And that's what you see. That is causing a huge chunk of businesses that we have in different parts of Nigeria. Well, I don't know about other parts of Africa now, but I know that these Igbo people travel a lot to different parts of the world. So why am I sharing this here today? That you as a business owner can adopt this as a methodology for creating your own legacy starting now. Whether they take over your business or not, you have raised a balanced person. You see that balanced person? A balanced person is a treasure to every society. And more importantly, our own society, because we're growing. The reason why there's a lot of dysfunction is because we have dysfunctional people roaming around across the street. At the level of governance, at level of entrepreneurship, at level of education, and at level of family, and the list is endless. So decide that in your business, you'll be the person that will truly raise balanced people because you are conscious of the legacy that you're building, and you are very conscious of the ripple effect it's going to have on society and on the continent at large. Edith, I think that we need to round up. Today we have another meeting for 12, so we have to finish at exactly 11:50. But I'm just going to let you say one final word. And guys, if you have any questions, please, we're going to take just one question for today. So if you have any questions on both sides, please start dropping it. Edith, I'm going to let you give your final words. I'll give my final words, and that's it. We'll round up for today until next Thursday by the grace of God. So
I think I'll say this because I realized when Just was speaking that most of us were scared of pouring into people who take that and go and do something else. And part of what I've always encouraged myself is that when I'm pouring into a person, I am not doing it in vain. When you do work like that, which is pouring into another person, that is service, that is ministry, and it is never in vain. It may look initially, especially when they leave, like you have wasted yourself. But let me tell you what will happen. I have had people that I have poured into, people that I have worked with, that have come afterwards and have said, Edith, I understand why you did this, or you said this, or you handled this situation like this. And because of that experience, or because of what you have poured into me, I was able to go and build X, or do Y, or serve these people. It always comes back. And let me tell you the best way that it comes back because when you have invested in a person, you will always reap the rewards. And you might not reap it directly. You'll simply find yourself in a situation where you meet a person who pours into you, or you'll meet another random person who opens a door for you, or you'll meet someone else who becomes a customer, or you'll meet another partner who does a certain deal, or you'll meet somebody else that does something else. God will always reward you for your good work. He will always reward you for mentorship. It is never in vain. And sometimes the way that you reap those rewards are in ways that you never expected. I have had times when I've stumbled into a room and something has happened, or we've signed an agreement or done something, and I was like, where did that come from? You know, or I'll say, hey God, why? Why do I deserve this? Or why has this happened? And then it'll remind me, you remember so and so? You did something for them. You remember this and this? You did this. You remember this and this time? You showed grace. You remember this and this time? You were intentional. You remember this and this time? You invested. This is you reaping your rewards. And let me tell you, capital gains from mentorship are the best capital gains of all. The stock market can never touch the capital gains that you get from mentorship. Never. Never. The capital gains from your legacy and from building your legacy, even real estate in the most prime region can never come near that, because it does what I like to call, it puts down a deposit. Okay, it's like putting down a deposit, and because you have the right posture and the right heart consistently through, you're consistently making payment towards that investment, towards that legacy. Legacy and mentorship is not something you do for free. It's something that you know is an investment for your future. And let me tell you guys, the day that you reap the rewards, the day that you make bank and you realize what you have done, or the day that you met a person that you had mentored 10 years ago, and you realize what they've become because of you. My friends, there's nothing like that feeling. I guarantee you must tell me what is like that feeling. There's nothing like that feeling, because you have literally birthed purpose and mandate and legacy and beauty and impact into the world. There's nothing like it. There's nothing. Even Paul will tell you probably Timothy was one of his greatest accomplishments on this earth. There's nothing like it. I'm sure Naomi will say Ruth was one of her greatest accomplishments on this earth. There's nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it. Hey!
So good.
Sha!
So good.
Some of you, you're feeling bad about birthing kings and queens. Let me tell you the reality. What you have created is part of your greatness. Let me say that again. If you create or birth a king or a queen, that is part of your greatness. That you didn't just become one, which is the easy route. You birthed it. You created it. That is the greatest DNA of all. And there's nothing like it. Don't just become it. You must begin to learn how to create duplicates of yourself. Me and Just want a mandate to change this African continent. We must create duplicate Edith, Just all over the continent and make sure that they are greater, stronger, more accomplished, brighter, more intentional, more relentless, more passionate than us. Only then will we have done our work. Only then.
I didn't expect it. Like, it's hitting every bone, every cell in my very being. Like, I'm not sure you were prepared for this, but I feel like this is the icing on the cake. I don't think it could have been better delivered. I honestly don't think it could have been better delivered.
No.
So I want every single one of us to take this back home. Sit with it within our closets, sit with it within our businesses, sit with it within our lives, and begin to do proper reevaluations to truly say, if I'm going to build a legacy, it starts first with me becoming grounded and consciously raising a breed of people who can do like me and better.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you saw that Shark Tank presentation of a 15-year-old son and his father. Edith, did you see that Shark Tank presentation?
Yes. Yes.
I honestly saw that video and every part of me was saying, what a man. What a man. I was just looking at the father. What a man. What a man. Who replicates a 15-year-old? For me, that's genius. That's genius at its peak. I don't care anything else. That is genius. The boy understands things that people who he was pitching to knew when they were twice his age.
Oh my God.
And the confidence, the audacity, the precision. That, my friends, is legacy.
Yeah.
And that they challenged me beyond explanation. Because it made me begin to have conversations with my daughter so that I can explain to her what I truly do.
Yeah.
My daughter understands the African continent and understand everything about Africa and all of that. But I started to give her more detailed explanation so that she gets it. And so when she's 10, she can stand on a podium and talk about the passion for Africa. Like I have a passion for Africa, I will have done a good job with specifics and understanding. That challenged me beyond comprehension. You saw it was indescribable. Somebody said in the comment, it was indescribable. That, guys, is legacy.
Oh, wow.
He didn't wait till he was going to die and say, son, come and start learning the ropes. He was not pressured and feeling that, oh, his son is better than him. One of the judges even said, you are not talking, your son is doing all the talking. And the man boldly said, 50-50. He has all the rights, all the permission to do anything.
I love it.
I'm telling you. He said, no, he has all the right to take all the decisions. In fact, they will go for certain meetings. The people who they go for the meetings for will say, oh, let your kid sit at the corridor. And the man will look and say, really? Go handle the meeting. And all of them will be like, oh my God. Like, do you see what I'm saying? He wasn't pressured. He didn't feel like he was doing anything to shortchange himself. Instead, he was building a legacy. He was proud to do so. How many of you have employees, co-workers, or apprentices who you are proud to truly raise to be better than you as a legacy? She gave an example of Paul and Timothy. Another example of Ruth and Naomi, Mordecai and Esther. Fantastic legacies.
David and Solomon.
David and Solomon. Fantastic. Elijah and Elisha. Fantastic legacy. Jesus and the 12. Fantastic legacy. What are you building? What are you building?
Hey.
Because if Jesus did not build his legacy with the 12, there will not be a Christianity you and I call Jesus today. There won't be. That's legacy at its peak. Oh, yes. And so you got a legacy. What are you dropping back as you're going? Edith, I feel like when we get to heaven, majority of the questions we'll answer may not necessarily even be seen. It may be, what did you do with the things I put inside you?
Yeah.
You know how that master went and then he came back and told the servant, a wicked servant. What did the servant do that was bad?
He went and he did it. Yeah.
So I feel like majority of us, that's what we will do the most. Answer the most in heaven. Like God will say, but you had all of these giftings. Yet, look at the person that passed through you. See how useless he became. What were you doing with all those giftings? She said something very pivotal. She said, do not think about them taking your trade secret, because Africans were sold that thing.
Yeah.
That's not who we are in our DNAs. We are people of love, accommodation. That's who we Africans love genuinely.
Yeah.
We love, we accommodate. That's who we were created to be. So when that thinking of he's going to steal my trade secret, he's going to steal that was sold to you and me. And don't buy it. It was sold to you, don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
Because that's not who you are.
Yeah.
Who you are is to pour of yourself into people. And if it's good for them, it's good for them.
That's true.
Because you don't get worse by making somebody else good. I hope you know that. A candle does not die by lighting on that candle. I hope you know that. So if you mentor a person who's better than you, you don't die.
Oh, wow.
You get better.
Oh, wow.
That's what it is. I don't know about you. I want to raise a men and women who I can call on tomorrow. I'll tell them we're rebuilding 12 bridges across the continent of Africa. And they'll say, yes, Madam President, this is our contribution to it. Private stakeholders, not governments.
Wow.
Those are the kind of men and women I want to raise. That will single-handedly rebuild all the infrastructures on this continent.
Wow.
Yes. Those are the kind of men and women I want to raise. Whether they're wealthier than me, don't matter, but they have a focus on what they want to do. Yeah. And the beauty about building a legacy is you can impregnate the people you are building with a vision that precedes you. That's the beauty about a legacy. Jesus had a vision. He poured the vision into the 12. The 12 had a vision. They poured into everybody, and the gospel will have till today. So, an actual way of accomplishing the things that God has called you to accomplish is to build a legacy in the people that you have been privy to raise, pour into them, impregnate them with the vision, right? So Edith and I are passionate about rebuilding this continent. And when we talk, we're pouring it into the hearts of people. People are burning. And as you know, the fire is spreading gradually. One day, we will wake up and 1 million African youths are crazy with the same idea. Africa must be built. Africa must be built. And at that point, we become such a colony of crazy soldiers that are going with precision and accuracy, invincible, unstoppable. At that point, we'll begin to rebuild rails. Yes. So when you think we're showing up live like this and just talking, we're not talking, we're sowing seeds into your heart. We're sowing seeds. We're apostles in the marketplace, and what we do is we activate men and women to get up and run. So chances are a lot of you will live here today and you will not be able to sleep. You'll be restless. Something will be birthed inside of you. And that's the idea. Because on the day when the army are going to come together, you would understand why conversations like this were necessary. Right?
Oh my God.
So yeah, guys. I feel like we have come to the end of this session. It is 11:55 and we have another meeting. So my guys, thank you so much for joining the third episode of the sustainability series. By next week, we will have the final episode, but I sense that we're going to do a lot more episodes. We don't know yet. We'll let you know as the need arises. Maybe subsequently we'll now enter into, well, we don't know yet. We'll go and confederate together and then come up with other things that we can possibly do for African entrepreneurs. But in the course of the week, we'll keep sharing snippets so that a lot of people can catch the things that they need to catch and run with it. And for what it is worth, from our staples to you, myself and Edith Njage. Edith has a new book on the journey to purpose, right, Edith?
In the fullness of purpose.
I'm sorry, in the fullness of purpose. I think you should go to her bio and click pre-order for that. And then you want to follow me, pay attention to what we have going on the Association of African Startups, because 2020 is a banger. I can't even explain it in words yet, but until you see it. In 2022, by the grace of God, we are going knee deep into 12 sectors on the African continent, including AI, artificial intelligence, agriculture, logistics. It's a lot of stuff. Unfolding 12 specific sectors where we believe that is the future of businesses in Africa, and we're bringing facilitators to deepen your understanding on how to truly grow in those industries. So if you're not a part of the Association of African Startups, long term, go join immediately. The link in the Association of Africans bios, or just send me a message. So guys, we're going to end here. Thank you so much, Lillian. Thank you everyone who is joined today. We love you, we appreciate you, and we pray that every single one of you will find the message after listening to this that will change the game for you, and you we actively start building your own legacy. Thank you, God. Okay, Edith, I love you, sis.
I love you more, sis.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Let me end it now.